and whatever I see is smiling at me. Love is who I am. Hello there, beloved Ascension Pioneers, and welcome to this Ascension video update with me, where I'm going to talk about the new rainbow human. So what does that mean? This is one more video, and actually after this video I'm going to take a short break, a little retreat for myself, because the most recent upgrade a lot of us went through was very intense for our bodies. And during this eclipse period, between the eclipses, is the most intense. We need lots of rest and body nurture, because the body is going through much of the new, I call it wiring. And whenever I wake up feeling like, when I say wired, it's literally when our nervous system is too overly stimulated through all of these upgrades we're receiving. And it's important that we focus right now on the stabilization. This was the key word that I was given on the exact day of the eclipse already. I didn't share this before. I didn't think of it as so important, but then today, when I did my daily Instagram and Facebook message share, and you can see these messages if you tune into my Instagram page. It's called Polona Aurea Art. All the links are down below, and this is when you can really stay updated for my frequent messages. So as I was tuning into, I created this reading, and the same card came through that I already received on the day of the eclipse exactly. And this was the Ascension Rainbow Bridge card, which you can see here. Most of you already know about this, and this is something I received, and I will share about what's happening. It's kind of like the finalization of this process that many of us have been speaking about. I have older videos dating back to 2012 already, I think. 2013 mostly was, I think, the year when I spoke a lot about these Chakric system and the higher Chakric octave and upgrades for Ascension. You can find that there if you're new. Just go down, find the videos on that topic. Go through my playlist. There's an Ascension playlist and a self-mastery playlist specifically focused on all, and the Ascension updates are mostly on that. But this Rainbow Pillar card, right? I'm going to talk about this today. What does this mean? Why this is coming up now so importantly is because what I received, and I have to say this, whenever I receive things, they're reoccurrent messages that repeat themselves, and I'm always just observing and neutral observer until I really get validation and confirmation. So today, when I got this card for the second time, after that I was doing my yoga, and all of a sudden I noticed this rainbow on the floor, because it came through our window and it was reflected through this we have this glass door wardrobe there, right? I mean, it's more like this cabinet. And it actually, it created almost like this pillar kind of rainbow, huge, that was moving through the room. And I've never noticed it before. Already I did yoga there so many times. I'm like, okay, that's one of the confirmations for sure. And after that, I was guided to come to my vortex spot. I have this creation pillar vortex here in the Alps. There's this magical mountain gorge there, and I go there. Probably those of you who know me already know that. And this is where I don't just come to commune with my own self, my own spirit, but also spirit of nature, spirit of creation, and creation angels. And a lot of nature angels as well are there, many fairy beings working with the elemental energy of this planet and the translation of the energy as is occurring on our new earth template. So this guidance that came through was about those of you, those of us who are becoming now, and we're really feeling that. It's not just something we've talked about years ago, but we're now really stepping into the embodiment of that, becoming these first rainbow humans. So I wrote a little about what this means. There's just a short message shared on Instagram, but this is going to be a deeper share, okay? So the first new rainbow humans are those beings of light who have aligned with the Earth's current ascension timeline and move through that's a unified timeline, by the way. It's a unified energy. And go to my previous video when I talked about the union of worlds. There's exactly this image in the mandala that I shared that shows this rainbow assimilation and then stabilization that occurs through these various timelines coming into unified timeline. And I've talked about that many people will be ready because it will seal the deal on the 7th octave and move into the 8th octave, which is the 8th pointed star in the mandala. So we've moved through the planetary ascension cord of light. It's almost like the cord of light that's the planetary ascension rainbow bridge, but we do that through our own rainbow bridge of physical ascension. This means that we have fully aligned, purified, and integrated our lower chakric system template and are therefore ready to set a new foundation, which feels like a blank slate. I'll tell you a little bit about how that feels. It's not the kind of feeling when you feel void when you're in between worlds. That's a little different energy because you feel you're not here, neither are you there. That's when you're shifting, you know, it's like you're in between worlds. But this rainbow bridge energy and the white pillar of creation foundation you have managed to synthesize, we're going to move into that as well in this video, feels like a complete renewal of the self. Like you are you, and yet you are a new you. There's a new consciousness wave, and there's an emptiness that's not empty and void in a sense of something's more needing to come, like you're waiting for harnessing of something, but you're actually feeling empty in a way that you feel so whole and complete because you did that integration work. That's the difference in that feeling. So we've created that blank slate for the new higher chakric template embodiment. Without this work of soul integration, there is no new earth alignment, because a lot of people talk about this in the New Age movement, but it's not just something we talk about. This is actual physical work of soul alchemy. That means that every human that is choosing the pathway of new earth alignment has to do this inner work of chakric stabilization. So that was the key word given to me. I was asking during the eclipse. I didn't receive anything special. As I've told you before, I don't usually force guidance upon myself at all. I just do the things that I'm guided, and then guidance, if it's meant to come, it comes, and when it does, it will be very clearly. It's like on and on, constant confirmations building upon one another in layers, until I know what needs to be translated and transferred through these messages. So when this process is done and we complete this integration, a complete overlay, it feels like an overlay of energy. Like I said, you will feel like something in you is different, and you won't perhaps know how to explain it. This overlay is for the new template, and it will be set into place, which requires a lot of physical strain as well for the body. This is like this rewiring of your body that needs to be done so you can receive this new level. So the body vessel of the individual will go through many of these it will feel like initiatives that make you sometimes feel more tired or depleted of energy, because so much energy goes into this process. I've talked about this before, and I will talk about this in my upcoming book, which I'm writing now as well. So therefore, because of this integration of the body, more rest is needed, more nurture, more solar yoga. You know, we have beautiful sunny days now outside, and my next course will be on the solar logos consciousness and the solar blueprint, and I'll show you some of the ways and techniques in the course how you can attune through the solar logos to become one with the earthly and solar consciousness as one. You're going to also be doing some exercises, something I've already received. So it's important we do that, that we soothe the physical nervous system that really went through so much in this last couple of years, and especially during this eclipse. That's basically the beginning stage of our new ascended self. And you will know you're with this because you're not mentally forcing yourself to get there, but your spirit is already there. And your body is, in a way, signaling you that this is what it is. It's felt, it's embodied, it's deeply integrated. So this is required at this time for those who are moving through this process. And when this overlay, it's almost like a new seal of your creation self is complete in the physical form. Because before we felt this ethereal knowledge, it's almost like we were feeding that through our light body, and it was a two-way process. It's a two-way stream, and our physical body sends the signals back to the light body, how much that merge can occur within each moment where you are currently embodying in this timeline that you're choosing. So it's always a two-stream, right? It's actually a multi-stream because we're multidimensional beings. But when we look at the transference of energy between our physical and light body, it's always a two-stream. So we were undergoing this, and because of this now, when it's complete, we will feel more charged up. We'll have more hyperactive nature of creativity will be more activated than ever before. For that to really occur, there needs to be a complete soul and physical readiness on the behalf of who we are, within the personal mastery completion of the individual whose body is now ready to be susceptible to this higher light transfer. Therefore, the lower chakric template of the basic 7 chakras, which many people still talk about as the only template, and yet it's not. Everything is always a perception from where you're coming from in your own soul awareness and embodiment. So in the body, chakras are these basic 7 foundations that needs to be stabilized and integrated through the white pillar of light that is the building pillar for the unity consciousness achieved within your physical template. This causes the source alignment of every single chakra in the whole system, plus all of them functioning together as a single unit. That's important. That's the stabilization we're feeling now. So each chakra has therefore undergone a series of initiations that helped to build its muscle, in a way, to build its spiritual vortex, because each chakra is like a vortex of energy, and that helps this integration. I'm just briefly going to go through this. It's not really meant to be a part of this video so much, but just to give you a little bit of for those of you perhaps who are new. But if you're new, I really advise you, if these concepts that I share are new to you, don't go into them because you're not there yet. If you're struggling with understanding something, it means you're just simply not here now, and you should focus on where your soul is guiding you in the moment. Otherwise, you're creating lots of mental energy that's being used for things that are not really supposed to feed your soul in this moment in your body. That's not going to make you feel really grounded and stabilized. If you are, it will come naturally to you. So go perhaps watch some of the older videos when I talk about these things as more through understanding and what they mean. This is more for those of you who are actually done this integration as well already. So these first chakras, right, the 7 one, that when they're complete, when they're whole, when they're synthesized, working as one unity field, white pillar of light is overcompassing all of that. They're actually serving as the bridge, and that's why we call it the rainbow bridge. We can't really serve within this new consciousness template if we haven't done this within ourselves. So we have to move through these initiations and initiatives of each chakra. So the first one is physical, and it deals a lot of times with safety, security, survival, physical sustenance. The second one is sexual. It deals with creativity, sexuality, desire, you longing, the longing that creates the things that you need in your life. And I always say this to people because a lot of times they want to dismantle things in their life prematurely. But, this life, why we're here for, it's not about this dogma, this imprint that was sold to us that we're here to learn lessons, because lesson is a word that sounds almost kind of tricky. It sounds like someone is telling you you're a bad girl or bad boy, you need to learn your lesson. It's not how our divine source is like. So I call everything an initiation, because initiation is a neutral word and it implies constant expansion within your spirit and your soul awareness. But when we think of life as offering us lessons to learn, it's almost like, okay, I was good, I was bad, I needed to learn that lesson because I was so bad or so good or anything like that. In truth, we are simply learning about the nature of our being in the world of existence, being in this world that has a specific sort of principles that are governed by creation principles. So basically, our life is here to show us the road to our personal self-mastery and to walk into our sovereignty. But that means that everything that's in our life, until it's there, it means we're still learning, we're still integrating that. So it's gonna be there, and don't try to push it away. It means you're still integrating something from that. You're not learning lessons in a way that makes you feel you're being judged by this entity existing somewhere outside of you. So it's not about that. So the third center is the power of the self, which is self-control, total self-acceptance. The fourth one is love, the heart chakra, the self-love and nurture, compassion, your luminosity in that way, what you emit simply with the language of the heart. The fifth chakra is the creative self-expression. It's the clarity of self-expression. This was needed to be mastered. Every chakra is like a doorway that shows you both polarities, and when the polarities within each vortex of this chakra is counterbalanced in a way that is not either plus or minus, then it really can neutralize on a greater level. It's like you're climbing up the stairs, the ladder of spirit. So we're receiving the clarity of each initiation within each chakra as a template. So the sixth one is psychic. It deals with the intuition, and it's about the clarity of vision and mastering the clarity of vision. A lot of people who tend to be very psychic, which means they receive a lot of images and impressions, mental pictures, even about other people, premonitions. We're all psychic in a way. But people who are perhaps doing that as a profession in their life, you know, as that's how they're making their establishment in the world, that's their dharma in life, or how to call it. Perhaps these people have a predominant initiation here on these levels. But, you know, that means we also have to move through the clarity of this sight that is pure, that it's not, like I've talked about in my previous videos, and the master codes of seership, and to have the keys within your soul that unlock the purity of the seership, that it's within the truth. It's not in a way coerced into something and manipulated. And the seventh center is what we call the crown. It's actually the center of cognizance, which is pure knowing. When the knowing is pure, it comes from spirit, it comes from your oversoul complex moving through your soul, and it's a direct transmission. So those of you really mastering now this rainbow template, you're gonna be receiving energy directly. It won't be filtered anymore. It's going to be a direct transmission. That's the difference in that new you state. So this is the clarity of the inner spirit connection, the clarity of knowing. Now, this seventh layer is the mastery of the soul. And here we will have our last initiations within this level before the synthesis is complete. And for many of us, this came through perhaps seeing the clarity and needing to debunk anything that was perhaps a spiritual belief, a dogma, because we had to master the seeing everything in clarity, all within the clear spirit guidance. And we needed to clear all the spiritual belief, manipulations, dogmas, imprints, esoteric distortions, even lots of psychic debris, and the inability to see the truth behind everything and any situation in hand. We needed to turn that into the ability to see all within the light of truth. But then when this is complete and the synthesis, and I talk about this, then we move into the eighth level, stabilization, which is the oversoul level. It's the mastery of the oversoul, and it deals with our soul start chakra. And that's the image you can see in the Union of Worlds video, when I shared that through the principle that came through that mandala, through that painting. So we've talked about these chakras before. We've done the paperwork, right? We were activating them. We were infusing them with so much light. Everything we've experienced, and people talk about these as past life initiations and everything was there for a reason, not to just learn lessons, but to really create a foundation for when your soul is ready to move through the gateway of physical ascension. And that's why I'm here for. That's my mastery and where it lies. And for me, that feels like simple. It's natural, because I see a lot of people who are first-time awakeners, and they're trying and pushing really hard to be ascension guides, but they haven't yet completed their mastery on the higher planes, and yet they're wanting to be these guides. It almost feels like it's forced a little bit. It's not so natural. So because they have not yet complete clarity of sight, they often also bring the information that's not often within full truth. And I talked about this in the previous video on the marks of seership. You have to have those marks. You have to have the signature of being a true guide so you can do that work. That's a transmission of clarity, not all these distortions. Because people do deserve to have guides that are authentic, that are pristine, that are pure. That's what this world needs. So we were moving through all this, and it was a lot of information shared. And much information was put on us, but it's almost like it was a pile of knowledge you study as theory, but your body also has to go through it in practice. That's what we're going through now. A lot of you are completing this. And what it means to actually be ready to embody this light is almost like we have these examples of the ancient masters and teachers who've done this in their bodies, but most of them knew they weren't required here for the physical sustenance. Their mission was more like to see how it's done, so they could put it into the field of humanity, into the Akashic records, because at later times when more people in group would be moving through this, we'd have that knowledge. But they knew in a way they weren't needed for the physical embodiment of that. There were so few in those times. So with the exception, we are those ancient light beings now, but with the exception that now we do stay. They did not need to stay at that time in the body, but we're doing this physical ascension in the body this time. So as this is complete, we will be able to feel an evening out of sorts. It will be very beautiful feeling of wholeness. That's how I'm feeling for quite a few days now. This year's Valentine's Day was a huge gateway every year in a way, because we say it's a day of love, and so many people tune into that grid and that awareness. But this year, celestially, and we had, I think, that comet as well, so many things happened simultaneously, created a huge ripple effect. How much readiness it was within the collective of those of us doing this work as the frontiers, as the first ones who get to do it. And that's why today I received the words, the first rainbow humans. It was like, whoa, the first ones, really? So there's this evening out that feels like a beautiful feeling of wholeness, and I haven't felt as good as in the past few days for quite a long time, for a few months, because so much work was needed to prepare this space. It's a feeling of complete inner peace, acceptance of ourselves and all that is, and really feeling aligned, feeling like this blank slate and a white place. It's like a white paper place, right? When you feel like you're ready to draw on it. Our light will grow and move towards greater service because of this, assisting others who will be still moving into this and creating their own rainbow bridge in their own divine timing. And these are the things that are important now that I'm going to expose. First, assistance needs to come through the work we've actually done before. Like I said, people do deserve those who are authentic in what we did. For a lot of us, we've shared information. I've shared lots of information in my videos, but again, it's just information. The work that I'll really be doing on the planet in the future times and years to come will be very pragmatic. So this assistance will come more and more through our own embodiment and working with the people and working with groups, and will be all about leveling up. My example would be, something I need to mention here is, I do a lot of work. I have web pages, video blogs, stuff, people coming, emails, personal sessions, so much. Writing my book now, doing my work, painting, all of that, right? It's so much work, and a lot of times when I share things on social media, I just do that to bring that out, and then I move into my creation spaces, and there's people sometimes there hooked on this online social media network. Sometimes people who are not even exposing who they are, they never show their faces, they just have these hiding behind pictures, and these people present these profiles as their real selves, but we never see them. And these people sometimes just sit around, wait for the next comment, for the next picture, and they comment all day, and that's all they do. They don't have their own pages, they don't have this work. That's where they are. And recently I received this comment from someone who said, oh, my vibration is just like your vibration, a little lower, but yours a little higher. But yeah, we should level up. And I'm like, wait a minute. First of all, how do you know? Is there a meter for that I didn't know about? Please let me know. All jokes aside, I want to say that these people are always there, like hooking you into, like, let's debate about this. Let's comment. That's the reason why I don't have comments in my videos, because my work is not in that. My work is bringing this higher template, bringing the knowledge, sharing, and then again move into an even higher space of creativity. Keep on creating, because I'm a creator being, and you are as well. So you better get your act straight, right? I want to say that this leveling up for a lot of you will be bring your energy, contract that which is not necessary, and bring your life force back to you so that you can infuse it to works of higher creativity, refined soul aspects and gifts of who you are, instead of wasting your time on things that are not important. So sometimes people take things personally. If I don't reply to their comments, or I don't say good, there, little buddy, I don't mean it in a wrong way. I just mean that I'm 111% always working on things, and sometimes I don't even sleep enough. I'm sleep deprived because of all. And people think that just because I didn't reply to their comment, something's wrong, or I'm angry or something. I just don't have the time. And recently, with this comment coming from this person, I had a clear insight that it's time for a lot of us, this is my own example, has to be authentic through me, was to move away from that. And I will be less and less engaged in this. Whatever I share, you can't read all the comments, all the people want to talk about and debate. If you have a real feedback to share with me, send it to me in my email. I'm really going to be more pleased if that's the case, because I have an ability to reply there to all of you. But in comments, I just don't have time to browse through all of them and reply. It's too much in my hand. I'm receiving so much to do that's now in this 1 year of initiative. needing to be created, coming to the surface, be brought for people to have. Like, you know, for me, when I do my book, it's constant. It's so much information, and I have to transcribe a lot of it from my automatic writings. I have 1,000 notebooks, and it's just so much. It's like I can't sit around all day type, because it's for hours, and then read all the comments, do all the stuff. It's like I get exhausted, so I can't. I really can't. And I'm going to have to leave that aside. So those of you who are really good and always commenting and a part of the tribe, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. I just mean that that's not personal. If now I'm going to withdraw more from that, because I'm really needed to bring that through what Spirit wants me to create and why I'm here. It's really important. So thank you for understanding and respecting that. So for a lot of you, it will be the same, moving away, creating works of high creativity, because this means that we're moving into higher things and creations. And this last thing is about the shift in our work of light. This affects that. We will be working within our renewed domain. That means that the work will shift. If sometimes you feel a stagnation in something and then it comes up again, it's because it came up now, resurfaced on a new level that you're now ready to commit to in your service. Your energy changed. Not energy, but your whole signature of the soul that's now in your body has changed. So the work will be more tangible as well. Less about just sharing information about this process, because you can share and share as much, but no work gets done, perhaps. So some of us have completed this level, this information level. This is more like the 4th density. We're moving into the 5th, which is a more tangible work of light, of course, and beyond. I have to say this. Tangible work of a divine service. So when you're really working for the establishment of new programs and applications for this light, how it can move into the world, we have to be very creative and resourceful in that, and that will be able to move this light, you know, to stream into this new world that we're building and co-creating together in a very tangible energy dynamics. So away from this wishful thinking, oh, you know, I wish it was like this. Really, where are you now? What are you devoting yourself to now? I'm very firm sometimes in my videos. It's not the only nature of mine, but it is one of my very dominant natures to be very firm, because what is the truth simply is you cannot shift it. You know, for you to do certain things, you're going to do it, of course, in your own way. No one tells you it's going to be this and that. It will still be your personal experience that's unique. But there are certain things you need to go through, master, and refine if you want to have this and that. So for example, someone wants to go vegan and wants to change their light diet, but all the time they're putting junk food in their bodies. Well, they're not doing the work, right? If you're constantly praying for a better relationship, but then you keep going back into those old karmic attached ways, well, you're not doing the work, you know? And if you're constantly praying, and you're saying, oh, I'm complaining, nothing happens, and you're not listening. I have a lot of people who sometimes, you know, people get my courses and they're like, where's my course? And I'm like, read what says on the webpage. It all is shared, how you get it. And people don't always read it. Most of the times they don't read it. It shows how much we are sometimes sloppy in what we do. We don't really tune into it with our whole being, spiritually, physically, all levels. It's really time. It's finally time. A lot of you, this arrival feels good. I have this last mantra to share here. It's like a little spirit attunement. And then I'm off finally for a few days, weeks. It goes like this. Don't just share. Be bold and dare. Step into the world and create your own flair. The light that beams is the energy that streams in endless broadcast. Here we go. It's time we step up. Let all else go. You will know what is needing to die off to create more room in your life, to feed this new. This is from Alana Fairchild's Lightworker Oracle. I highly recommend it. Beautiful cards, truly work of service, work of art. I love you all so very much. If you want to get my courses, all the links are shared down below. If you want to support the process of writing my book, it's very time consuming. You can do that as well. I invite you to become perhaps my Patreon, which is one of my sponsors of this work I'm doing. If that fits in with you, it somehow resonates, if you have some of your resources to share, you know, perhaps not send me a feedback, not a life story, you know, I don't have time to read those, But if you want to do work more personally, closely with me, then just get my personal services. All information down below. Have a beautiful time. I wish you so much love, as always, and wisdom and power, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye. And look at that beautiful rainbow light that always comes through the sun, right? So beautiful. And the silence. Just letting us activate this presence, the solar logos, the solar light, the infusion of the crystalline frequency within and all around us, sparking up the crystalline grid, and all of us together as one light being, family of light, of divine love.